Hmm. So let's talk about power of thoughts, what we think, because I'm sure um, all of you must have heard this that our thoughts shape our reality. And I also know that even though many have heard it, but many do not really believe it because many do not really understand the true power of thoughts. So, thoughts for me has recently shifted in terms of what I believed thoughts were to what I now know thoughts as. It's like reintroducing my thoughts to myself. So that's the first perspective that shifted, the reality that shifted was that thoughts are the communication that we are constantly receiving at all levels, at our conscious, subconscious, and unconscious level through through so many ways. Even if, let's say, something that you saw on internet has triggered a thought which was not there earlier. Now we may say that it is because of what we read or what we saw the thought came in, but the fact remains that that's only a trigger for a thought to come in your existence. Now imagine if I start looking at every thought as a new creation. Um, and I can say this being a woman, maybe, but I'm sure every parent probably would realize it, would relate to it, saying that, I started looking at every thought as a baby that I am delivering, bringing into this world. And the moment that happened, I just became so gentle, so tender with my own thoughts. Just the way how I would nurture a life in me. That's exactly how I started looking at thoughts. I started nurturing them. I started to become more calm when the tantrums came in. It's like dealing with a newborn and the toddler, and they're every stage. It's like raising a child till they become truly independent, and now they are ready to face the outside world. It's like that kind of tenderness has shifted so much inside me over the years that it's just a very beautiful feeling. Now, when it comes to how thoughts translate into reality, I can give many, many, many examples that how my just thoughts, just the belief itself has given me so much. It could be as simple as I always believed that I'm very lucky when it comes to finding a parking spot, a perfect parking spot. And invariably, people have witnessed it. Even in a crowded mall, I would find a parking right next to the elevator block, or even in the crowdest the place, or yeah, there are so many things that I can keep giving examples of how many upgrades I have received, because I've always believed that I deserve comfort. I'm worthy of it just for existing, not because I have a chip on my shoulder, but just because I am born and I am doing everything in my capacity, that is being an honest human being. Then, you know, I know it's that feeling that you just know that you will always be taken care of. So yeah, it was more than the deserving. It was more like I know I will be taken care of. I don't have to worry about things that are not for me to worry about. I always kept believing that I will just do my bit, and rest everything else will fall in place. Um, People say that I have been pretty lucky. I would say luck is a belief system that we inculcate time and again, time and again, time and again, and we don't take even the smallest of uh, miracle for granted. I have kept my thoughts clean, and when I say clean, does not mean that I have not felt anger or hatred or uh, vengeance, or no. Clean means that even when I felt them, I was honest with them and I knew why I was feeling that way. And I allowed myself to process those feelings, process those emotions, and then took the lessons out of them and then built my thoughts further from there, rather than allowing my thoughts to overpower my feelings or my emotions. So even in those moments when I was feeling absolute anger, I kept my thoughts clean. That just because I am feeling this does not mean that I have to think bad things about someone. I can still stay clean in my thoughts, in my thinking towards myself and every other being. So power of thoughts is something that is like an electric current that we keep receiving, and that electricity flows through our body, and then wherever it is malfunctioning, it will create some kind of discomfort, and every discomfort is a direct indication that something is not sitting right in our body. And if we ignore it for too long, it becomes a disease, and then when it becomes a disease, it creates another kind of thought pattern, and then when that thought pattern is not being addressed, it starts impacting our environment, and our from our inner circle to then it starts expanding, and then eventually the it starts impacting the global environment, so to speak. So for me, it has always been a conscious choice to keep my thoughts clean, because I know that every thought is creating a new cell in my body. If I keep clean thoughts, that means it's a healthy cell that's getting generated in my body. And if I have malicious thoughts against anyone, then that's creating dead or poisonous cell in my body. So I keep my life that simple. I hope um somewhere we all can learn to monitor our thoughts, observe our thoughts, absorb our thoughts and then know what thoughts are not aligned, and then choose better thoughts. And trust me when I say this, it's a conscious choice. It's a practice. It's a discipline that we need to bring into our life more consciously than following a timetable in the name of a discipline. So yeah, that's me on power of thoughts. But let me know what you think. Until then, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.